Do not pay attention to my sweater. Don't be fooled by it. I don't go to this university. I go to college, so if anything, I shouldn't be wearing this. But it was a gift, so I'm keeping it. So, I did a thing. What thing? What thing? What could possibly be the thing that you've done? I have applied to university. Before I start this video, I just want to say to the newcomers, welcome. Welcome to my channel. This is a very messy one. I don't seem to know what I want to do with it. If you're a recurring viewer, welcome. Please subscribe. So I just finished my first semester of pre-health sciences at George Brown College, so that meant that I am in winter vacation. Pre-health sciences only lasts 1 year and it's a certificate. That meant I have to plan my next move for next school year. I have to apply to universities or colleges depending what I want to be. For me personally, I have to go to university to get into med school. That's my plan. I want to be a doctor. So in this video, I'm just gonna talk about the differences between university and colleges. Oh, by the way, I'm in Canada, so I'm talking about Canadian universities and Canadian college, just to be specific. I will also be talking about my fees, the universities and the programs I have applied, and maybe some advice on applying to university as a high school student, and maybe as a mature student, or I don't know, it depends on whatever rolls my tongue. Now some of you might be thinking, but Joey, aren't universities and colleges basically the same thing? Well, boys and girls, yes and no. Yes, because they're both educational pathways that are equally valid and equally important to the person. It really depends on what career that you're doing and what kind of credentials that you're looking for. No, because the expectation and the experiences between universities and colleges are slightly different. There's always some slight differences like finance, experiences in the campus. Programs in colleges are usually for trades, skilled workers, hands-on experiences, etc, etc. Careers such as nursing, plumbers, electricians, firefighters, police and stuff, and all those careers are all but not limited to colleges. Colleges offer certificates after 1 year of full-time schooling, which is what I'm doing right now, as well as diplomas after 2 to 3 years. Now some colleges do offer degree programs, which is usually an articulation agreement with a university, although I don't think that's always the case, so I'm not really sure on that. Universities offer academic programs who wants to be a doctor, an engineer, an astrophysicist, a historian, a curator at a museum, and professional artist, professional photographer, fashion designer sometimes. Although I think fashion designer is more of a college program because I know 2 colleges who offer that, and I don't really hear universities having a fashion program. But who knows? These degree programs usually last for up to 3 to 5 years. I say 3 because there are some programs that are fast-tracked and accelerated, and students can finish those programs and get a degree in like 2 to 3 years. I also say 5 years because universities like University of Waterloo offer programs with co-op. Co-op is basically like an internship with pay and hands-on experiences related to whatever program that you're in. And it usually alternates between schoolwork, stuff like that. The biggest difference between university and colleges are the finances, because holy crap, universities are mega expensive, especially when you go on residence on campus. The average tuition for universities in Ontario is $6,000, sometimes going into 8 or 10, and it all depends on your program. And by the way, it doesn't include books, lab kits, and lab coats if you are a science student, and if you're an art student, you have to buy art supplies, which can easily go up to the mid-triple digits. Tuition in colleges averages around $3,000. It can go higher than that, it can go lower than that, it really depends. You would still have to buy all the books, all the necessities for the school year, but it's generally less expensive than university. Now, because there are slight differences between between universities and colleges, people are having a debate on whether university is better than colleges or colleges are better than universities. Although the majority of the believe that universities are better than colleges, which is generally not true because it really depends on what you need and what you want to be in the future. Sometimes it all depends on the child. If your child wants a more hands-on experiences, then they will go to college. You cannot force your child to go to university and pay $1,000 more when you can save them if you go to college. Sometimes even a university requires a diploma program, which is usually in colleges. It honestly really depends on the child. This warped perception that universities is so much better than colleges is really toxic because it puts a lot of pressure and it forces on the child that you have to go to university because if not, you're gonna fail in life or something. Students are no exception from this either. There are some students who belittle other people for going to college because I have experienced it. I've experienced this bullshit when I was in grade 12 last year, but it was more of a he said she said type of situation and it wasn't directly said to me. But still, how can someone be all and mighty because you're going to university and I'm going to college? Like, how far up your ass can you be to think like that? How high is your ego? What I'm basically saying is universities and colleges are good on their own different ways. They all have pros, they all have cons. It really depends on the person and it really depends on the career. People just don't understand that. This type of mindset can put a lot of pressure, unnecessary pressure on the child when they're in grade 12 because they're thinking it's like, oh my god, I need to go to university. I need to go to university. When they can just go to college, go there for like a few years, get a certificate or diploma, maybe even a degree, and then go to university. What and where you choose in post-secondary and how you move forward in life and to the future does not determine your worth. So, what am I doing with my arms? So, to apply at university, you have to go to a website called OUAC, which stands for Ontario University Application Center. And within that website, in the front page of the home page, there are six different applicant types. I don't remember the last two because it doesn't really apply to me. I remember the 4 different types of applicants, although the last one is not what I want to do, which is law school. So I'm not doing law, so let's not talk about it. So for high school students, you go to undergraduate 101. Within that account, you have to answer a few questions, personal information, any history of schooling that you did previously, when did you arrive in Canada, were you born here, yada yada, all that stuff. And then you have to choose your programs. For me, I went to the 105 one, undergraduate 105, for being a college student. If you're a transfer student and a mature student, which are 2 different things, you can also apply through here. Last year, I went with the 101 because obviously I was in high school. So whether you're in 101 or 105, you get 3 spots for program application, and then there will be a fee every single additional program that you want to take or want to apply. You can apply to, I think, a maximum of 3 programs per university. So you can apply to 1 university but 3 different programs. Now the fees are slightly different. For 101, it's $150. For 105, which is mine, is $153. I have no idea why there's $3 more in 105. And for additional universities, additional programs, you get to pay $50 per program. I only applied to 4 programs to 4 universities because your girl's broke. So that meant I get to pay $200. So that's the end of it, right? Hell freaking no, there's plenty more fees to pay. It just keeps on coming. I don't know about other people, but certainly for me, I feel a lot of pressure in choosing which university and which program I should take because of the amount of fees I have to pay just for the application. So, like I said, I applied to 4 programs and 4 universities. The first one is University of Toronto St. George Campus, which is in downtown Toronto, and I have applied for the Life Sciences program. My second one is the University of Waterloo for the program of Health Studies. This is the only program in a university among other universities that is a direct route from my certification, and it requires me to have a 4.0 GPA. The third university is York University for the program of biology, and lastly the fourth one is Queen's University for the Bachelor's of Sciences, which I plan to major in either biology, life sciences, or do a double major in biology and psychology. Now this is the section of the video where I tell you a little bit of the university and stuff. So for U of T, there are 3 main campuses. There is UTM, which is the University of Toronto Mississauga campus, which is in Mississauga City. U of T St. George campus, which is in downtown Toronto. The third one and the farthest from mine is University of Toronto Scarborough, which is in Scarborough, which is east of Toronto. Mississauga is in the west. You have to apply to these campuses separately. If you can't choose between 2 campuses, like say for example UTM and U of T St. George, that meant you have to use 2 of your spots, and you can only apply to one other program unless you want to pay another $50 fee. Now this is where it gets a little confusing. UTM and UTSC do not have colleges within their campus, or like their campus name. In U of T, they have 7 colleges, all of which have their own meal plans, residences, programs, and streams, and like, I guess, experience. It depends on which college you go to. For me, I have applied to Victoria College, University College, and Woodsworth College. Victoria College is a college that is only available for the first choice, and that's why I chose it. And University College and Woodsworth College can be either 1, 2, 3, any of the spots. University of Waterloo is Waterloo, and it is the second farthest from where I live. It takes up to maximum of 2 hours, and because it's about 2 hours away, I have to go on residence. Yeah! So that meant my tuition per year is going to be more expensive. York University is the closest university to where I live, which is about an hour to an hour and a half bus ride, which is not bad. They have 2 campuses. One is French called Glendon, and one is Peel campus, which is English. That is honestly all I remember from their presentation last year in high school. And lastly, Queen's University. This is the type of application where I think, you know, I probably won't get accepted, but I'm gonna try it, you know? You gotta have confidence in yourself sometimes. Sometimes you gotta stand up and be proud of who you are. Queen's is the farthest university from where I live, which is around 3-hour drive, It really depends on the 401, because the 401 is the devil's anus. I visited, not really visited. I've only seen the exterior of the university while I was on tour for Montreal, and while I was going to Montreal on a bus tour. That's what I meant. I got rejected from all of my university's applications last year, which is not a bad thing. I mean, it was bad for me because I mentally broke down when I got all of my rejections, but I eventually picked myself up and applied to college. There was a lot of pressure in applying to universities in high school. I think it's because it's the first time around and it's my first experience applying to university, so there is this big expectation and pressure that you go to university on your first try. Of course, nobody told that to me explicitly, but my head was like, okay, you gotta go to university this first time. You just have to. Which put a lot of pressure on me, so much so that it affected my physical health. Like one time I got sick twice in a month. Now it doesn't seem like a very big deal because everyone gets sick all the time, but for me, I only get sick like like a maximum of 1 or 2 times a year. And I got sick twice in a month, which is a big deal. I was way too stressed. I was way too pressured. Now that I'm a college student, that means it's easy, right? Maybe. I definitely didn't have the same pressure as last year, although applying as a college student with just a certificate is really confusing. The first confusion that I have is my title, like what type of student. I am a college student, but am I a mature student? Am I a transfer student? Who knows? So a transfer student is a student who's like transferring from college to college, or college to university, or university to college, or university to university. It really just meant that you're transferring to other institutions and you haven't have your credentials or your degree yet, or your diploma or your certificate. A mature student differs from college to college. It differs from university to university. Some universities have mature student qualification as 19 years old and never finished high school. Other universities have requirements or qualification as a mature student. You need to be 21 years old and haven't been to high school in 4 years. And for me, an 18-year-old just got out of high school doesn't really fit to any of that. Because number one, I'm not 21. Number two, I'm not 19. And number three, I have been to high school. So that meant I'm only just a college student, just a regular college student trying to go to university. And because I'm just a college student, my choices are kind of limited. Because some universities, like Ryerson, doesn't accept my certification of pre-health science. Now, whether or not if you're in grade 12 or you're in college or like in any level of education, I think this advice will help you. This advice is something that resonated with me when my English teacher in grade 12 gave my class a pep talk. She told us that students, especially my class, treat the assignments and different decisions as like the biggest decision that you have to make in your entire life. Sometimes we need to learn how to accept failure. We need to learn how to deal with it healthily, and not like mentally shut down because you failed. Sometimes you just fail at something and it is okay. There will always be a second chance. There will always be other opportunities to show what you're capable of. And lastly, always have a backup plan. Guidance in high school should advise university-bound students to apply to colleges as well. And I understand that it's another fee to pay, but it's $90 for 5 colleges. If you compare it to the $150 to 3 universities, I think it's pretty good. You would never know what kind of outcome there would be at the end. I really want to go to university, and I will. I hope. The path to become a doctor is gonna be really hard. It's gonna be full of sacrifices. It's gonna be full of tears, full of failures, full of successes also. But mostly it's gonna be hard work. I will do whatever it takes to get into university, and I will do whatever it takes to get into medical school. That is a promise. I will do whatever it takes to become a doctor. If you want to go to that university, work for it, get the marks that you need, that you want to have. But if you can't get it, then it's okay. Maybe go to colleges, or you can retake the course. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, like it, subscribe it, comment down below, or so yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you later. Bye.